Hey guys, welcome to another market review session with us. It's been quite a while on this channel and we are surely glad, all right, to be back doing this with you. All right, and as our usual tradition is, we'll be looking at some currency indices together to sort of have an idea of how those currencies would be during the course of this week, and then we'll be looking at some currency pairs also. All right, so first up, as usual, we'll be looking at the US dollar currency index, DXY, and let me just go down to the 1 hour time frame. You would see that I'll just be expecting a sort of retracement. All right, overall, however, my bias on DXY would be bullish. All right, so I'll be expecting some level of strength on DXY in the coming days. All right, and possibly, maybe this week and possibly next week. All right, let's see how the market moves. All right, but I'll just be expecting overall strength. All right, we might just see a little bit of a retracement towards the downside before we get to see that bullish move. All right, but overall, my bias on DXY would be bullish. All right, so I trust that is clear. Next up, we'll be looking at BXY, which is the Great British Pound Currency Index. And as you can see here, we've been having something that looks somewhat similar to, all right, a bearish move, all right, a downtrend as it were. All right, so currently I'll still be expecting BXY to be bearish. All right, however, I want to be watchful. All right, if I can see possibly a candlestick or some candlesticks getting towards this trend line again before we get to see rejection, that would be a more idealistic move, all right, for the market to make. However, just in case that doesn't happen, I'll be expecting something close to a short buy to sell, all right, on BXY. All right, so I'll be expecting a level of weakness, all right, on GBP or on the Great British Pound Index this week. All right, so next up, let's look at AXY, which is the Australian Dollar Currency Index. All right, and we can see that we've been having some very what word should I use? Let's call them wiki moves. All right, they've had a lot of weeks up and down, but that's fairly normal for currency indices anyways. That being said, I'll be expecting still also on AXY, I'll be expecting some level of weakness on AXY. All right, we see that unfortunately, or fortunately or unfortunately anyway, we've not been able to see price, all right, break above, all right, this point. All right, so let's call this, or let's use this zone rather. All right, so that price still came back to test this zone a couple of times. This is between 66.53 and 66.16. All right, so that price came back into that zone a couple of times to test it and was not able to break out of it. All right, so we've seen that this was probably a news or release. All right, this long week here was probably a news release. So we've just had price moving along that line, and it is looking like we are still going to continue bearish. All right, so I'm just expecting some level, just a very short level anyway, of bearishness on AXY during the course of this week. All right, next up for the currency indices, we'll be looking at the Canadian Dollar Currency Index, all right, CXY, and likewise to AXY and BXY, I would still be expecting some level of weakness here. All right, we can see, should I go up to the daily time frame for this? Yes, so we can see a level of, we can see this trend line rather that held first time here, second time here, or a third time here before it was finally broken, and we've seen price get back to that trend line. All right, let me go back to the 4 hour time frame. All right, so currently I'll just be I want to see what exactly price is going to do here. All right, so in the eventuality that we're able to get price to break below this trend line once more, all right, and I'm saying that once more because it is looking like that trend line has lost a lot of its strength, all right, the majority of its strength. So if we're able to get that break, then I'll be expecting CXY rather, to fall down to this point. This is between 72.88 and 72.39. Yes, all right, so I'll be expecting bearishness, all right, on CXY. All of this being said, all right, we could just get possible retracement. So if I'm expecting a certain currency indices to be strong, all right, we can just see a short bearish retracement before we continue that, and the opposite would be, all right, for a bullish move. All right, so for JPY basket, I think for a couple of months now I've been quite bearish rather on the Japanese yen. I've been I've just been looking at it that I should be falling, don't mind me. All right, but overall I do feel like we are going to still be seeing some level of weakness, all right, from JPY basket overall, all right, but for the early days of this week, possibly between Monday and let's say Monday and Wednesday, all right, we might get to see a short bullish move from JPY basket. I am just going to be watching out for this, all right. I'm going to be quite watchful. Now, this does not mean it is going to happen like this necessarily, all right? But I just want to be watching out for something like this. Overall, my bias is bearish, all right? But I want to watch out for short retracements that can show us or can confirm to us the exact movements that the market is going to make. All right, so that'll be it for the currency indices we'll be looking at. Then we're going to look at some currency pairs together. All right, so first off, everybody's favorite, everybody's most loved pair to trade, gold, XAU USD. All right, now for gold currently, I would be expecting overall, now as if you can already see my screen already, you see that I have a diagram drawn out already, and that is just for a buy to sell. Now this would be an idealistic move. All right, this would be the ideal move for the market to make, which would be, all right, for us to already have price bounce off this trend line, come up to the zone, and then we get to see the drop. However, I'm fairly sure that we are going to see some sort of bearish move on gold very soon, very soon. All right, so I just want to be watchful for that. Let me just mark, and give me a minute. I want to just mark out this point. Yes, so somewhere around there. Let me make it a bit thinner. All right, so I just want to watch out for this. So possibly we are going to have that bounce off this trend line. All right, get to see price get into the zone and then drop. So I'll be watching out for a sell very soon. All right, so now based on your own confirmation criteria, all right, or whatever your criteria will be, just look on your chart, all right, and get to mark out points. All right, if you believe that, all right, this is where I'm looking at for gold to sell from, just mark them out and wait for confirmations. Please do not take any trades haphazardly. All right, don't take any trades anyhow, or else you will collect from the market anyhow. All right, so make sure you wait for confirmations. All right, once you have seen that all your confirmations, all your confluences are there, please fire. If you like, knock 100 lots. All right, nobody's going to fight you. If you lose it, the market will take your money. All right, but as much as possible, wait for your confirmations. All right, but overall, my bias for gold would be for us to have a sell very soon. But as you can see on my chart here, I'm just expecting a short buy rather to that sell. All right, so I hope that is clear. Next up, we'll be looking at USD CAD. So we're not going to really be treating many currency pairs, all right, this week. Well, from next week, don't worry, we'll bombard you with all of them. Maybe not all, but you know, you understand what I'm trying to say. So don't mind me. All right, so for USD CAD, let me go up to the daily time frame. All right, so for USD CAD, personally, I was supposed to catch this buy. If I was that person that was, maybe you want to trade your account and you want to leave that trade on for like 3 months, 5 months, or whatever. This trade, I saw it coming. I shouted it around. I feel like I'm sure I would have mentioned it already during one of the last market reviews of the year. All right, I think I should have mentioned it. All right, so I was not looking. Look at this beautiful movement. Imagine. All right. All that being said, my bias for USD CAD, all right, if you remember what I was talking about for my bias for DXY, for also have a little bit of strength, all right, on DXY, all right, and then that will be something that we will be also be seeing on USD CAD. So I'll be expecting some level of strength also on USD CAD very soon. All right, however, I want to be watchful for possible retracements that can happen in the opposite direction. All right, so before we necessarily get that bullish move that we're looking for, I want to see a possible retracement towards this downside. All right, so even if let me go down to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, wonderful. In case we do not actually get to see price coming back towards this trend line, this point looks fairly appetizing. Is appetizing the word? Let's just use that word. All right, so we might just watch out for something along this line. All right, we might watch out for, sorry, yes, I'm coming, please. Yes, so we might just watch out for something towards this line, or we might just get price to come down towards this zone. This is between 1.34704 and 1.34613. all right, and if we can get price enter or tap into that zone, then I'll be watching out for buys from somewhere around there. So either that zone, or I'm watching out for the trend line. All that being said, I'll be expecting a bullish move rather coming up on USD CAD. All right, next up, let's look at GJ. I think everybody likes GJ. I feel like everybody should like GJ because it's GJ. All right, so for GBP JPY, all right, if you remember, I was expecting some level of weakness for the BXY, that's the Great British Pound Currency Index, and also for JPY basket. All right, so for GJ, if you notice, GJ has been flying and just buying and just going up and just going up, and it's not looking like he wants to come down anytime soon. All right, so let me just go up to the weekly. I want to quickly show us something. Give me a minute, please. Yes, so I've currently marked out the previous high. All right, I marked out the candle. Let me just zoom in on that. Give me a minute. I just marked out the candle that made the previous high, which is this one. All right, between this one and just the high point of it, so to speak. All right, so I just want to watch out for this whole area. All right, and I'm just going to be watching out for that as a supply zone anyway, as a supply zone. So if we do get to see some level of reaction when price gets to that zone, I'm expecting maybe a bearish, all right, rejection from that zone. However, that is more or less on the long term anyway. For the course of this week, I'll be watching out for a level of sell to buy, all right, on GJ. All right, so I'll be watching out for a possible sell to buy move on GJ, whereas we'll be seeing probably get to see a drop into the zone, all right, get to come back. So that sell to buy is just we get to see a drop to this zone, and then we get to see a buy into that area that I mentioned earlier. Let me just quickly see if I can give us the coordinates to the points I mentioned earlier, and give me a minute, please. All right, so this is between 190. All right, this is 191.373 and 195.931. All right, so I would be watching out for whatever would happen or what price will do when we finally get into that zone. However, for the meantime, I'll just be expecting a sell to buy, all right, on GJ, a sell to buy, all right, on GJ. So I hope that is clear. Next up, we'll be looking at GBP USD. Another favorite. All right, so we're treating a lot of favorites tonight. All right, so for GBP USD, all right, so something similar to what we have on gold. I'll be expecting for us to have a bearish move coming up quite soon. All right, but just for the early hours of this week, as you can see, we are still in an ascending channel currently, and we are very, very close to this trend line. All right, so I just want to watch out for possible rejections that can or would happen. All right, taking into consideration that we're expecting some level of strength from DXY very soon. All right, so I might just watch out for possibly, all right, I might just watch out for price to get up to this trend line again before we get to see that rejection towards the downside. However, if during the starting days of the week we just get to see GBP USD folding, by all means, just look for a re-entry rather, and just go with the flow like that. All right, so I hope that is clear for G. You can see I drew 2 arrows, so it's either way I try to get to see price coming up to that trend line before we get a rejection, or probably by the time market opens, you just get to see that fall happen straight away. All right, so next up, let's look at AUD USD. AUD USD. This one is not really many people's favorite anyway, but he's a good guy. I promise you, he'll soon shank you too much. He's a good guy. All right, so for AUD USD, I've had this zone marked out for quite a while. This is between 0.64131 and 0.63412. All right, I've had that zone marked out for quite a while. I'll be expecting a level of bullish move happening once we get to see price get to that zone. All right, but for the meantime, I'll be watching out for possible sells on AUD USD. All right, so something similar to what we have on GU, something similar to what we have on EU and gold. Have we done EU? No, we've not done EU, so we'll do EU after this. All right, but something like that. All right, so for some people, they would probably want to consider this as a head and shoulder pattern, all right, which could be a confirmation enough for some people for you to say, oh, definitely we should be getting that bearishness. All right, so I hope it's a bit clear like this. All right, so first shoulder head and second shoulder, so possibly we'll be looking at that for that drop. All right, all that being said, I'm expecting bearishness from AUD USD. All right, so next up, I think this one should be everybody's favorite. I've said everything is everybody's favorite, don't mind me. All right, but this is EU, and something similar to what I just said on AU. All right, again, you might want to consider this as a head and shoulder pattern. Might. All right, and this will only work, or this will only hold if this second shoulder truly holds and we don't get to see price coming to break above it. All right, so for me, if I get to see price break above this second shoulder as it were around here, then definitely I'll be watching out for price to just keep going towards the upside. All right, however, since I am expecting some level of strength from the dollar, all right, I'll be expecting that bearishness to happen on Euro USD. All right, so last up for tonight, I know you don't want me to go, but we have to go. All right, so last up for the night, we'll be looking at AUD NZD. All right. I think NZD there are a lot of news releases coming out for NZD during the course of this week. Let me confirm. Yes. February 28th, you have NZD. And so NZD is very likely that's probably like AUD, USD, NZD, those three currencies, all right, currency pairs that have those three currencies in them would be fairly volatile during the course of the week. So please do take note, all right, do your best to take note. For AUD, NZD, give me a minute. All right, wonderful. So for AED NZD, we have something that looks sort of like a pennant here. All right, so I'm just basically going to be expecting for us to have overall. I'm fairly bearish for the meantime on AED NZD. That's my current bias on AED NZD. However, I want to be watchful. All right, I'm expecting possibly, all right, for price to still push up a bit. Let me go down to like the 4-hour time frame. All right, so we can see we can just mark out a zone that looks funny more to us. Let's pick out this bad guy here. This probably can be our zone 1, and then this one here can be our zone 2. All that being said, an ideal, let's go back to the daily. Give me a minute, please. All right, an ideal move would have been for us to have a price, come up again to get that break and retest. All right, that break and retest movement. We've seen the break already. Okay, we've actually seen a retest. Wonderful. We've seen a retest of that trend line. So definitely my bias on AED NZD would be bearish. All right, so just for a re-entry, you can just wait for let's go back down to the 2 hours. Sorry. Just for a re-entry, you can just wait for possibly price to come somewhere around here. All right, this looks fairly okay. You might wait for that. So it seems far away. It seems quite far the way I'm looking at it. You might wait for that. All right, you might just let's just use this 04-hour candle. All right, so this doesn't seem so likely, but I will still be watching out for it. All right, so overall my bias on AED NZD is quite bearish. All right, it's quite bearish. So it's one of two things: is that we get to see retracement back into the zone for price to pick more people to sell with, or we just get to see that straight movements and continuous sell on AUD NZD. So I hope that is very clear. All right, thank you very much for joining us for today's market review session. This is EasyFX Academy. Please do well to share, all right, like, comment, ask questions. If you have currency pairs or commodities that you would love for us to look at together, please do well to drop them in the comment section. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.